ask a question, I'm going to ask you guys to just raise your hand for a couple of seconds and then put it down. Everyone good? All right, perfect. So, please raise your hand if you know what cultural appropriation is. Please raise your hand if you've ever seen cultural appropriation within fashion. Okay. Please raise your hand if you have ever appropriated another culture within fashion. And then for the final hand-raising question, please raise your hand if you feel that cultural appropriation is wrong. Awesome. So now we have a couple of more in-depth questions, and this will be a little bit more discussion-based, so if you have something you'd like to add, please feel free. We'd like to hear as many opinions and takes as possible, so just raise your hand or even just blurt it out if no one else is talking. What are your thoughts on non-African people wearing traditional African clothing? Yes?
Why? Sorry, that's the number one thought that came to my head. Why?
Yes.
And people usually do it just for other people's entertainment. And they're more about wearing whatever they're wearing at that moment, but not appreciating Black people, appreciating Black culture, appreciating whatever. They're just looking at, oh, this singular outfit is so beautiful, and they don't care about anything else. So it's just ignorant.
And it's really hard not to take offense to like stuff like that because it's something as important as fashion, yet it's also something that's very simple and can also be very huge source of triggers for some people. Like it's like, oh, you take this one piece that you find interesting and then you turn it into your own piece and then you wear it and then you don't pay homage to that culture. Like that annoys me, and that I don't know, like I don't it doesn't sit well with me. It'll be like if I woke up tomorrow and decided to wear like a traditional exactly, like the traditional indigenous like Six Nations attire. That's cultural appropriation because I don't quite understand the history of that attire. I probably don't even have any knowledge, like enough knowledge about their communities and what they wear the attire for, like the history behind it. I just put it on because, oh, I think it's cool, it's pretty, it's fashionable, it's gonna make a statement. There was a certain point in history where if someone wore that same attire, someone of a different, like someone who wasn't necessarily like someone who belonged to that culture, let me put it that way. If they wore that attire out in public, they would be ridiculed. But flip it now, like someone from a different culture is wearing it, and half the time, like I don't mean to sound offensive, but half the time it's like, white people that do this, and then they wear it, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, look what this person's wearing, that's so cool, you know? And yet, how many years back we were ridiculed for that, and now you think it's cool, you could just come up and wear it, and not curious look at the history behind it, like, no.
Do you feel like there's a power struggle when you see someone that isn't from your culture wearing a piece of cultural clothing?
Myself, I feel very insulted because it's something else that is taken, it's something else that they feel that it's okay to take away from our culture. So of course it would hurt, and I think it's okay to be offended because that's what's happening.
But as soon as they wear it, then it's suddenly cool and suddenly this like high fashion thing where as soon as we put it on or we're wearing it, we're representing our nation, we're representing our culture, and we're proud of it. They're just kind of like plucking it from us, being like, oh, no, whatever you were trying to symbolize doesn't matter because it looks good on me, so I guess it's okay.
Like a popular example that I always use is like the E-News host Juliana Rancic, and then when she addressed Kylie Jenner having dreads on, and Zendaya, the Black woman, having dreads on. When Kylie had it a few weeks before Zendaya did, Kylie was, chic and like, cool and making a fashion statement. But when Zendaya did it, she was on red carpet, and then she was like, oh, she smelled like weed, just because she's Black.
Probably smell like weed.
Yeah, she probably smelled like weed and petroleum oil.
What?
She said that she probably smells like weed and petroleum oil.
Yeah, she probably does. That's just an assumption. Just because she's Black. She didn't smell Kylie, but she assumes Kylie smells good.
Yeah. If you step into Spirit, which is like one of the biggest Halloween costume stores, like everywhere you go, they have a costume of an Aboriginal chief. So now it's like the power struggle is like, okay, this guy that's wearing it is wearing this for a reason because he earned that right to wear it, but because now it's in the costume store, you can pick it up and you wear it, you're basically spitting in their face and disrespecting everything that they stand for. And that's where the power struggle comes from, because it's now it's like the people that are actually wearing it, they're looked down on, they're looked at barbaric. And then now, a Caucasian guy wears it to a party, and everyone's like, whoa, who feathers, man? Do you get what I mean? You're lit. That is where the struggle comes from, because it's like, they're not seeing it for what it really is, but what it's not. That's what's more popular and what's getting the most attention.
It's kind of like the baseball teams in the U.S. that have the Redskins and the caricatures that are so stereotypical, with the red skin and the triangular eyes.